Okay, so here we are again. Welcome to this live stream of AIE programming. You like that, Brett? Alright, so this is going to take 5 minutes. Alright, it's super simple. And all we are going to do is click somewhere up in here. Okay, and then get back a useful vector. Alright, and then we'll see about actually hooking it up to the player to make them move around. Okay, so in order to do that, what we'll look at is some of this information here. Alright, so I'll just explain this without actually typing it out. Okay, since we're going to be clicking, we just need to listen for an actual input click event. Alright, the type of event that we're going to listen for is if the mouse button goes down, and we only care about the left mouse button. Okay, then what we'll do is, since the mouse went down, what we'll say is get the current mouse position, and then this is probably the most like the hardest part about this, I guess. It's not traditional, is you need to take that mouse position and then convert it into a world position. Alright, so what you would say is the main camera. Okay, you have to fetch the main camera, and then you need to invoke this screen to world point function given that position that you have. Okay, so I'll just take this right here and then set that to be the click position variable. Alright, so then what I will do is set the click position in screens Z to be 0, because the Z value is going to be how far the camera is in the world space. Okay, alright, so just real quick, don't know if you can see this. Alright, can you pull the stream up? It's in Slack in year 1, just so they can see it. This dude. You watching it? Mm-hmm. Alright, so let me just show you guys real quick. Now, what I'll do is I'll hit play, and I don't even think I need this, but let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so she's moving. Don't worry about that. We're just gonna hook that up for later, okay? Whenever I hit play, if you look in the console here, okay, when I click, you'll see that it's going to just kick back these numbers, right? -5 and 1. And then if I click up here, it's going to give you -2.1 and 1.2. Alright? And then if I click the actual position here, it gives you -2 and -1. And once again, that's coming from this type of implementation. So all you need to do is get the input of the current mouse position whenever you click. So left click, get the mouse position, transform that position into a relative screen, relative world position. Okay, so that position would be with respect to the screen position. The Z value will be the depth of the camera, and we don't need that. Okay, and then we just print it out. Questions about this so far? How do I set this up? Well, the problem to be solved is basically just to tell the player to go somewhere. Okay, so what we'll do is look inside of the player movement behavior, and then add some extra functionality to this thing, which would let someone change what the destination position is, or the target position. Okay, so I'm going to make a public static function just so that I don't have to get a reference to this component. Okay, I'm going to make it static so that I can just say player movement behavior dot set target. So public static void set target, and that will take in an argument of what? Set target position would...
Target position.
What type?
Vector 2.
Vector what?
2.
Vector 2, yeah. So vector 2 target. Okay, so the functionality that I would need to hook up in this is that the player would probably want to refresh itself whenever we get new values, okay? So this right here is, we need to say that the starting position, okay? Shit, I knew that was gonna happen. So it's no longer static, which is gonna make this a bitch, but we'll just have to get a reference to this component. So the start position is going to be the transforms.current position, which is also just the current position, okay? So start position gets assigned whatever the value of current position is. Alright. The logic that we have is we're saying that if the percent is greater than or equal to 1, we just return, okay? So what we can do is just specify that the current time traveled will then just be assigned the value of 0, okay? So we can just do this, current time traveled is 0, start position is the current position, and then the target position, it will just be assigned the target position that comes in. Whoa, that is not it. And that's it, okay? That's all we do. Now what we need to do from here is actually get a reference to this movement behavior script, alright? So this will be a quick pro tip for you guys, man. There's only going to be one player ever, okay, in this game. So what we can do is we can actually just declare a reference to a player movement behavior, make it, you know, either public or a serialized field on it so that we can drag it in the inspector, okay? So I'll go ahead and do that. So private player movement behavior, okay, and I'll just say movement behavior because thank you, ReSharper. I'm going to serialize this because we're going to assign it, okay? And then whenever we do an update, whenever we do a mouse button down and respond to it, so instead of just debug logging, what we will do is call the set target position method and then pass it what?
It would be the mouse position.
Just the mouse position? What's the rest of the values that we have declared?
Point screen.
Which one?
The click point screen.
Click position and screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'll put screen space. That's it. Okay. So we'll come back to the script here and then let it run. Okay. Excuse me. We'll hit play. And nothing will happen. We need to actually assign the values here. So let me go find that component script. So where you put this like is irrelevant. Okay. It just needs to exist. So what I'll do is I'll put it here. So clicker, so mouse click behavior. Alright, so what you'll see right here is that we need to assign some reference to the movement behavior for the mouse click behavior. So the actual reference that I want is this thing. So I can take this and then drag it the actual game object and it'll pull the first one. Okay, that's on that game object. Make sense?
Go back and do that again.
So I'm gonna put them side by side just to show you what you have: a player and then you have a mouse click behavior. Okay. So for the mouse click behavior, that's the one on the right. You can see by the names. What I'll do is add a component. It'll be this, all right? And then I'm going to drag the movement behavior here because this takes a type of player movement behavior. So if I take this and then drag it there, okay, it'll let me assign it. All right. If I try to take this and then put it there, it won't. I can't drop it. So I'm going to take this, drag it here, and that's fine. Okay. Hitting backspace will remove it. If I actually just take the game object and drag it on, it'll pull the first movement behavior off of the game object itself. Y'all got that?
Yeah.
Sweet. So now I'll hit play and then watch her go, but then I want her to go here, and then I want her to go here, 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 so on and so forth, okay? That's good. So if I click here, why she go so slow?
Because it has the same time to travel.
Yeah. So yeah, the farther you click away, the faster she will run. Okay, so maybe like you could pass in, you could do math on your side that could change that, or you could just change how the movement behavior works in general. But I mean, it's super simple to set something up like this, where if you just say that the travel time would just be 2, all right, and just bounce her around, move wherever you want to move her. Super easy, okay? Any questions? All right, so I'll share the 2 scripts, and then if y'all need any extra information, just hit me up.